Welcome back to the deep dive. I have two reports sitting on my desk right now, and if I didn't know better, I'd say they were describing two completely different universes,
I think I know exactly which two you're looking at.
little on the same country.
One looks like a closed door, and the other one looks like, well, a red carpet.
It's wildly confusing, right? Report A says this country is effectively building a fortress. They're raising the drawbridge, doubling the price of admission,
Right.
and just making it significantly harder for foreign professionals to get a work visa. It sounds like a closed for business sign.
Or at least closed unless you're a heavy hitter.
Right, exactly. But then I look at Report B, and Report B says the capital city of this same country is, well, arguably the #1 place in the world for an expat to live.
Mm-hmm.
It's beating out Singapore, it's beating out New York, it's beating out London.
It is a classic case of cognitive dissonance. And the country, of course, is Malaysia.
Specifically, we're looking at the dynamic between the Malaysian federal government's immigration policy, the gatekeepers, and the reality of life on the ground in Kuala Lumpur.
And that's our mission today.
Yeah, to unpack this paradox. How can a place be so hard to get into yet so wonderful once you're inside?
It's a real tug of war between protectionism and livability. And to get to the bottom of this, we've pulled a stack of recent government policy papers, the ones about the employment pass overhauls,
Okay.
and we've put them alongside global city ranking data from Internations, Nikkei Asia, and a few others.
And to help us actually visualize what this means for someone trying to navigate all this, like where do I sleep, where do I work, we are viewing this through the lens of moveandstay.com.
Which is a really crucial piece of context here. We aren't looking at this from the perspective of a backpacker trying to stretch $100 for a month.
Not at all.
Move and Stay has been the go-to for business travelers and extended stays in Asia Pacific for over 25 years.
They deal with their professional.
Exactly. They specialize in serviced apartments, serviced offices, the whole infrastructure of a career, not just a holiday.
So these are the people who need a soft landing.
They're the ones who are there to work, lead companies, maybe start businesses. They are the exact demographic that's being squeezed by these new rules.
So they're the perfect bridge for this discussion. They're dealing with the friction on the visa side, but also the massive demand on the lifestyle side.
Precisely.
Okay, let's just stop dancing around it. I want to hit the listener with the number. It's a specific salary figure that has caused a lot of waves recently.
I know the one.
$4,900 per month.
That is the new barrier to entry.
4,900. Now, for a listener in, say, San Francisco or London, that might sound like a standard salary, maybe even a bit modest.
Sure, for a mid-level role, maybe.
But in the context of Southeast Asia, that is a massive number.
It is huge. To give you the technical breakdown, Malaysia's employment pass, that's the visa for skilled foreigners, it has different tiers. This new policy, it effectively doubles the minimum salary threshold for the top-tier executive category.
Wait, doubling? Usually when we talk about policy shifts, we're talking about an inflationary adjustment. 5% here, 10% there. A 100% increase is a shock to the system.
It is. It's a structural overhaul. It's the first major change to the scheme in nearly a decade. So you really have to look at the why. Why would a developing economy that craves foreign investments suddenly make it twice as expensive to bring in talent?
My cynical knee-jerk reaction is that it's just pure protectionism. A Malaysia first kind of thing.
Well, there is certainly an element of prioritizing the local workforce. The government's stated objective in the reports is to balance the influx of foreign business with opportunities for locals.
Right.
You have to remember, Malaysia's economy is growing. They're attracting data centers, tech hubs, manufacturing.
So they don't want companies just shipping in their own middle management from overseas just because it's convenient.
Exactly. The logic is, if you are going to bring someone in, they better be a true executive. They better be bringing high-level value that justifies a nearly $5,000 monthly salary.
And if the job pays less than that?
Hire a Malaysian. There is plenty of local talent available.
So it's a quality filter.
That's the term the analysts use, quality over quantity. They are trying to pivot from being a destination for, say, cheap labor or mid-level expats to being a hub for high-net-worth talent.
They want the C-suite, not the back office.
That's a good way to put it.
But here's where I get stuck. If you raise the bar that high, usually you see interest drop off. People follow the path of least resistance. They'll go to Thailand or Vietnam where the thresholds are lower.
But the data says the opposite is happening.
Exactly.
And that brings us back to the paradox. At the exact same time the government is raising the walls, Kuala Lumpur was crowned the world's best city for expats in a major global survey.
I looked at that list. It's not just some participation trophy. They beat the heavyweights. I mean, how does KL top Singapore? Singapore is efficient, it's clean, it's safe. How does KL win?
It comes down to a metric called the Getting Settled Index.
Getting settled. That sounds surprisingly human for a data point. What does it actually measure?
It measures the friction of landing. You know, how hard is it to feel like you actually live there? How hard is it to find a home? How hard is it to make a friend?
Okay.
And this is where KL just destroys the competition. The source material highlights two specific factors. First is social connectivity.
Making friends.
It sounds soft, I know, but it's the #1 reason expat assignments fail. Loneliness.
Right.
In London or New York, you can live there for 10 years and never really know your neighbor. People are busy, they're guarded. The data shows that in KL, expats find the locals exceptionally friendly and welcoming.
So you don't get that cold shoulder of a major financial hub.
Not at all. But the second factor is the real heavy hitter, especially when we talk about that $4,900 salary floor. It's the finance and housing metric.
The wallet impact.
Yeah, think about it this way. In New York City, if you earn $4,900 a month after taxes and rent, you're struggling.
You're living in a shoebox with a roommate.
You're certainly not living like an executive. You're surviving.
Right.
But in Kuala Lumpur, $4,900 a month places you firmly in the upper crust of earners. Your purchasing power is massive. You aren't just getting by, you are thriving.
So the barrier to entry ensures you're relatively wealthy.
And the cost of living ensures you feel extremely wealthy. That's the synthesis from the experts.
That's a fascinating trade-off. We will make it hard for you to get in, but if you qualify, we will treat you like royalty.
That is the tacit deal Malaysia is offering. It's high stakes, high reward.
Okay, so let's assume there is a listener right now who fits this profile.
Yeah.
They're the target demographic. They have the job offer, they hit the salary threshold, and they are moving to KL. The next panic point is, where on earth do I live?
And KL is sprawling. It's not a compact city like Hong Kong where everyone is squeezed onto one island. It's a collection of neighborhoods, each with a very, very distinct personality.
This is where I want to bring in that move and stay perspective, because they've been doing this for 25 years, helping people find extended stay solutions. They break the city down, not by geography, but by expat personality type.
Which is really the only way to do it. A single 28-year-old tech consultant needs a completely different environment than, say, a 45-year-old executive with 3 kids.
Let's run through the list. Let's play matchmaker. So let's start with that family. I'm moving my whole clan. I am terrified of culture shock. I want a soft landing. Where does move and stay send me?
You are going to Mont Kiora, without a doubt.
What is the vibe there?
The sourcing describe it explicitly as the expatriate town. It is a bubble, and I mean that in the best possible way for a family that's just arriving. You have the best international schools right on your doorstep, which is priority #1 for most families. You have shopping centers stocked with the cheese and the wine you recognize from home.
So it's the path of least resistance.
It's comfort. It's designed to minimize the stress of relocation. You can walk down the street and hear English, French, Japanese. You don't have to figure everything out on day one. It's safe, walkable, convenient.
Okay, but let's flip it. I'm not bringing the kids. I'm younger, or maybe just younger at heart. I don't want a bottle. I want brunch. I want boutiques. I want a social life.
Then you are looking at Bangsar.
Bangsar. Paint me a picture.
Bangsar is the socialite. It's vibrant. The food scene there is incredible. Trendy cafes, speakeasy bars, lots of boutique shopping. It's also really accessible to the city center, so the commute is manageable.
It sounds like the place where you go if you want your Instagram to look good.
It is, but it's also a real community. It's where expats mix with wealthy locals. It's not just an expat ghetto, it's a melting pot. It feels alive.
Now, what if I'm the high-powered executive who is just tired? I'm doing high-stress deals all day. When I go home, I want birds chirping. I want a fortress of solitude.
Then you head to Damansara Heights.
That sounds grand. The Heights?
It is. It's basically the Beverly Hills of Kuala Lumpur. It's lush, it's green, it's hilly. The housing stock there is different, Fewer high-rise condos, more sprawling bungalows, and low-density villas.
The serene retreat.
That's it. You're close to the city, but you feel like you're in a forest.
Is there a middle ground? Somewhere with that prestige, but maybe a bit more, I don't know, diplomatic flair.
That would be Ampang. Historically, that's the diplomatic enclave. It's where all the embassies are.
So big flags and security guards.
Big lawns. It
Fair.
has a very established old money feel. It's less trendy than Bangsar, but maybe more dignified, if that makes sense.
It does. I want to challenge you on this next one, though. We've talked about bubbles and enclaves. What if I'm the expat who hates being called an expat?
Yeah.
I want to live in Malaysia. I want authentic food. I want to know my local neighbors.
But you still need safety and good infrastructure.
Exactly.
Then you want TTDI. Taimantan Dr. Ismail.
PTDI. Okay, why is this one special?
It's a bit of a unicorn neighborhood. It's a real neighborhood, not a dormitory for foreigners. You have some of the best local food in the country there. Hawker stalls right next to third-wave coffee roasters.
So you're actually living alongside Malaysians.
Exactly. You are part of the fabric of the city. You aren't separated by a gate. For a lot of long-term residents, this is the holy grail.
Let's talk budget. Even if I earn that $4,900, maybe I'm frugal. Where's the smart money going?
Wangsa Maju.
I haven't heard of that one.
It's more up and coming. It used to be considered strictly suburban, but the connectivity has improved drastically with the light rail lines. The key here is you get modern amenities, pools, gyms, security, but at a fraction of the price of Montkiera.
Value over the label.
Exactly. And finally, if you want a spot that does everything, a mix of office, home, local, expat,
A bit of everything.
then you have Bangsar South. It's a relatively new integrated township, premium condos next to office towers, next to a mall. It feels very modern, very efficient.
You mentioned office towers, and that triggers a thought. We've been talking about sleeping and eating, but these people are here to work, and this connects right back to the move-in stay lens.
It really does, and this is a nuance that often gets missed in general travel guides.
Right, because if I'm an entrepreneur or a consultant coming in on this new, expensive executive visa, I might not have a corporate headquarters waiting for me.
You might be setting up a regional office from scratch, and under the new rules, you have to prove you are a legitimate business entity. You can't just work from a cafe if you are claiming to be a high-value executive.
And that's where serviced offices come in.
Yes, a serviced office, which is a core part of what Move and Stay has specialized in for 25 years, provides the legal and physical infrastructure you need. A prestigious address, a receptionist, meeting rooms.
So it gives you instant legitimacy.
Which is vital when you're navigating a stricter immigration landscape. Having a lease at a prime office address in Bangsar South or the city center carries real weight. It shows you're serious.
It's the infrastructure of a career. You can't separate where you live from where you work when the stakes are this high.
And think about the stability factor. If you're moving your life across the world, subject to these high thresholds, you cannot afford to get the logistics wrong. You can't be stuck in a year-long lease in a neighborhood that makes you miserable.
That's where the trusted partner aspect comes in.
Right. It's about mitigating risk. When you're moving a family or a business to a new continent, having a partner who knows the landscape is invaluable.
It's not just backpacking plus, it's a strategic relocation.
Precisely. The margin for error is smaller now because the cost of entry is higher.
So let's zoom out and try to synthesize all of this. We started with a paradox. A high wall, but a beautiful garden.
Fortress Malaysia versus welcoming KL.
And it seems to me that the government is trying to curate the community.
Yeah.
They are effectively saying, we don't want everyone. We want the best. And if you are the best, we will give you a lifestyle that you can't afford anywhere else.
That is the trade-off. It's becoming an exclusive club. Malaysia is raising the gate, but they are making sure the garden inside is worth the price of admission.
It changes the psychology of being an expat, doesn't it?
It does. It shifts it from, I'm just passing through because it's cheap, to, I have earned my spot here.
You have to bring your A game.
Literally. You have to prove your worth in dollars and cents.
It's fascinating because usually when we hear about visa restrictions, the narrative is all doom and gloom. Oh no, the country is closing up. But this feels different. It feels like a maturation of the market.
It signifies a country that is confident in what it has to offer. They know KL is a world-class destination. They see the rankings. They know the food is amazing. The healthcare is a top tier. So they're confident enough to say, if you want access to this, you need to contribute at a high level.
And for those who can make that leap, the rewards, according to the data, are pretty spectacular.
Absolutely. The Getting Settled Index doesn't lie. Once you are in, You're likely to be happier, wealthier, and more socially connected than you would be almost anywhere else on the planet right now.
It's a compelling pitch, despite the sticker shock.
Or maybe because of it, exclusivity has its own appeal.
Which brings us to the end of our deep dive. We've unpacked the policy, the paradox, the neighborhoods. But before we go, I want to leave the listener with a thought that's been nagging at me.
I think I know where you're going with this.
We're seeing this in Malaysia, but we're seeing hints of it elsewhere. Portugal, Thailand, even Singapore. The question is, are we witnessing the end of the digital nomad free-for-all?
It's a valid question. As nations globally grapple with this balance between foreign investment and local job protection, will we see more countries adopting Malaysia's model?
Exactly. Is the future of expat life shifting from a rite of passage to a highly curated, high-income privilege? Are we moving toward a world where you don't just move to a country, you have to qualify for it?
Like you qualify for a prestigious university, migration as a luxury good, it's definitely a trend worth watching.
Something to mull over. If you are planning a move or just dreaming of one, and you need to figure out that complex puzzle of housing and offices we discussed, definitely check out the sources we used for today's deep dive, including the insights from moveandstay.com.
Knowledge is power, especially when you're packing your bags.
Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.